Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Truth and Transparency. This is the third time today. I'm trying to hit all the time zones. So I did, what was it, 10 a.m., then like 3 p.m. my time, and now like 7 my time. I'm going to go as long as I can. All right. Please do not hold it against me if I don't go as long as you expect. Thank you. Again, welcome there, Gladiator 1983, became a YouTube member. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're going to close out. You know, I want to hear from you guys, so I am going to open up the lines here at the end. That will give me a lot of rest on my throat. Oh, snap. We back at it. Miss Potts, you know that's right. I told you I was wanting to do like a damn marathon, and I'm going to try as much as I can. All right. So, again, I printed off everything, you guys. We are just almost through the first one that I wanted to get through. Oh, my God, mic dropping's here. I got to stop the damn game. Mic dropping. Here is Name That Tune. We didn't plan this, but if mic dropping gets this right, I'm going to call somebody on a live. I just love this broad.
Mic dropping is always going to get anything right with songs.
Okay, well, I'm going to try her.
Her name is Mic Dropping.
I'm going to try it. Here we go, mic dropping. What do you got for me, mic dropping? Anything? What do you got for me? She's like, are you kidding me tonight? Really, Lana? Really? We're gonna take it to the limit. Mike Shaw was like, oh, seriously?
Tell me when she gets it.
Well, we'll see.
Don't let me down, Mikey.
I'm driving and can hardly hear. Give me 3 voice text. What? She can't hear it?
Yeah.
Aww.
I'll try, but I can't.
Aw, that's not fair then. We'll do it another day, Mike dropping. It is the Roots, baby. It is the Roots. It's called The Seed 2.0. So if you know, you know. If you don't, you know. It's okay. I just, me and Mike Droppin have like we like love music. So, all right. Now that I probably got booted from YouTube. Again, thank you for joining me this evening. I'm gonna make sure that all the members know because they were expecting this about a couple weeks ago. So I think it was like a week ago. So let's see what I can do here for them, and we'll set a goal. We'll do any. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll celebrate with. We got to call somebody. Call someone worth a damn. There we go. We'll inspire people. So let me just share this for our members so that they get the notification. Come on live. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Ooh. Sorry, guys. I just have been feeling under the weather. Okay. So again, guys, I said there was 13 issues, right? 13 issues. 13 issues. Detective Payne also noted that the defendant's height, weight, and ethnicity. He was white. Dylan says he was white. I have no idea how I know this, but he was white. That's what she said. He was white. I have no idea though how I know that, but he was white. I mean, he was white because we don't see black people in Idaho. You know what I mean? He informed the magistrate. So it's like he just starts listing. So like Hitler just starts losing it, kind of. And he's like, you really want to do all this? You really want to do all this? And I'm just like, he just starts listing all of this shit. He's like, with all of these things, okay? In addition, the affidavit describes footage from multiple surveillance cameras. So he's going on and on about that. Then he says, finally, the CSL evidence shows approximately, like he returns back to the scene, okay? The defense should have stayed with JJ, right? I know. It's like, be careful what you wish for. And then here, defendant Payne also noted that the defendant's height, weight, blah, blah, blah. He informed the magistrate the defendant was a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University and had studied how you can use technology, and the technological data is used by law enforcement. This inference is to be drawn from this information is that the defendant knew, particularly from a technological perspective, how to cover his tracks. That is what the magistrate took from this. Do you understand me? And you want to go on and on about all this crap, Ann Taylor? When the extent of the evidence recounted in the Penn Register affidavit is considered as a whole, it is evident to the court that had Detective Payne stated defendant's cell phone was traveling southbound from Pullman when it stopped reporting to the network at 2:54 a.m. There was still enough probable cause, damn it, Anne, linking the defendant to the homicides to justify the issuance of the search warrant, Anne. Consequently, a Frank's hearing is not warranted on this issue. Here's your footnote. The search warrant sought by Detective Payne through the Penn Register affidavit was for historic CDRs and CSLI. Excuse me. For the defendant's cell phone for the preceding 6-month period, as well as authorization for a Penn Register and trap and trace device. Okay. Where's Claire? Oh, I remember that name. Where's Claire? No. Woo! Let's talk about it. He's going on and on and on and on and on. Thank you. Bless me. Bless everybody. Bless everybody that's here. It has to listen to this fucking garbage. All right. This is where it gets real interesting. Okay. He says, I don't care, y'all. All this shit, it would still make it through. Now, number 4, defendant has not shown any omission regarding cell tower coverage area was reckless, intentional, or material. The final claim raised by defendant is that Detective Payne's he omitted important information about the cell tower coverage in Moscow when he stated, in quotes, the record for the A4. We've gone over that, right? Well, here, Payne's Exhibit A, according to Mr. Slovinsky, okay, the 2 towers that provide AT&T service to King Road also provide coverage to all of Moscow, okay? All of Moscow, right? Including the area defendant is known to shop. So this is what he left out is that, oh, wait, hey, by the way, all the towers that we are talking about, by the way, they cover the whole damn, they cover everything. So if you touch an AT&T tower when you're in Moscow, like it's going to, you would be consistent with being on the tower that provides service to 1122 King. Oh, we forgot to say that. So I just know that's interesting. That like, hey, nothing to see here. But they're making such a big deal about these cell towers, right? But here, it doesn't matter where you are in Moscow, okay? You are going to be on the cell tower that they're referring to. Ah, imagine that. So I've been to Moscow, okay? If I'm all the way down shopping over there at their shops and where King Road is, you guys, come on now. Come on. Wow. Everybody would have been on that damn tower, okay? Who else is on that damn tower? Everybody would have been on that damn tower. Unreal. So, like, I'm just saying everybody would have been in that tower. So, right here, you know, according to Tom Slovensky's, the two towers that provide AT&T service to King Road also provide coverage to all of Moscow. So, like, whippy shit. Thus, defendant claims Detective Payne misled the magistrate about the location of the defendant's cell phone on these 12 occasions. So that was the whole big boom. Like, anytime that he was in Moscow, Idaho, it's not that he was by their house. It's like the moment that he would have tiptoed in there, boom, you know, he's there. Completely different if they told the magistrate he was grocery shopping. Unreal. Yeah, because normally people would have gone and, like, let's get some bank records. Let's see if he's swiping his card at, like, the places to see if he's grocery shopping or if he's shopping for, I don't know, knives. You know. Busty, sorry, not today, honey. Not today. This is about this case. The accusation here is one of omission, specifically whether Detective Payne recklessly or intentionally withheld from the magistrate that the same towers providing service to King Road also provide coverage to all of Moscow. There is no direct evidence. There is no direct evidence. Like, look at this dude. He's like, dude, I gotta, like, he's working overtime. Okay? There is no direct evidence. No direct evidence. The Detective Payne intended to mislead the magistrate, okay? Nor can it reasonably be inferred, given the defendant has not shown the omission to be material and exculpatory. How would you like me to do that? That's all I need to know is how would I show that? How could I ever get around this? Like, nor can it reasonably be. How do I ever, if I am a defendant, show that? How can I possibly show that? Unless I'm able to get someone's text messages, unless I'm able to get, hey, I need to get all the cameras inside the jail when they were working so that I could have microphones and how could I ever prove this? How can I ever prove that? If I was a defendant. Heather, I love it. What else was he trying to do? Of course that sentence in the PCA is misleading, as it misled the entire world and all of mainstream media. Exactly. What did he think I didn't intend to do that. What did you intend to do? This is what got the fucking case moved, motherfuckers. I mean, this is just blatantly, like, just bullshit. Like, so my question is how would I, hey, Judge Hippler, I heard you have a class where you teach, okay, so I have a couple questions here. I'm in your class. I've been watching you on this channel, and how would one ever be able to obtain a Franks hearing? Like, what would I need to show you, man? You seem like a really big, like, what would I need to show you? Would I need to show you the murder on camera and then show you, like, hey, look, it's not me, and thereby all the stuff that they said in here is just lies? I mean, what do I got to show you, sir? Absurd. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. While including the information may shed some doubt on whether defendant was actually in the vicinity of King Road on these 12 occasions, as opposed to some other nearby location, it does not disprove Detective Payne's statement or otherwise exculpate defendant. You guys, Hitler is as biased. If y'all want to say I'm biased, then Hitler is just as biased. Okay? Everybody that was watching this case was like, he's stalking them. He stalked them 12 times. You got people saying that he was pinging on he was connected to their router. I mean, the fucking bullshit. But here, he says, while including the information may shed some doubt on whether the defendant was actually in the vicinity of the King Road house, on these 12 occasions, as opposed to some other nearby location, it does not disprove Detective Payne's statement or otherwise exculpate defendant. But you're totally missing the whole of misleading. Misleading. Isn't that what this is about? Misleading? It is difficult to ascribe ill intent to this alleged omission. Alleged omission. Further, and importantly, probable cause did not rise and fall on the evidence of defendant's 12 prior visits to Moscow. What? We're talking about you obtained that information. How? Like, oh God, this motherfucker just... He's going to get eaten alive, I personally think, for years. This is going to be in the courts for years. So, whatever. For years. Now, another. Oh, Judge Hitler reminds me of Pontius Pilate. That's interesting. I'll take that one. All you Catholics out there. Christians. All right. So here we go. Defendant has not met his Frank's burden on issue 9. Footprint outside DM's door. In issue 9, defendant challenges as false a statement made in the Payne Exhibit A about this footprint. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type of shoe sole, just outside the door of DM's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. Hitler just ruined his reputation. I love it. The defendant contends the last sentence is false, noting that the footprint is closer to her bedroom door than she reported the suspect to be. There are no other prints before or after it, and it is not positioned toward the sliding door. It's not positioned toward the sliding glass door, which is where DM said the suspect walked after passing by her. Defendant further claims it is an intentional or reckless statement because its only purpose was to corroborate DM's unreliable statements. Ready? Here we go. For the bike basket and goggles fund. Love it. He goes, ready? There is nothing false or misleading about Detective Payne's statement. Holy shit, this man has a heart on. Hey guys, there is nothing false or misleading about Detective Payne's statement. The shoe print was consistent with DM's account. She told law enforcement she saw a defendant walked past her bedroom door after she opened it for a third time. And then I opened the door again and the guy is right there. That's her statement. That's how it is. And then I opened the door again and the guy is right there. You guys, this is fucking wild. This Hitler guy is so obviously biased. Yes, and fucking Gonsalves are loving it. They're loving it so much they are just picking out the gun that they're going to use. They are taking him down. Hey, I'm all for it. If Brian Colbert killed your kid, sure, do whatever you want. But nobody gives a shit about this other blood DNA evidence. And if I'm a parent, which I am, you were never going to find me not screaming from the rooftops, whose blood this is. Whose blood is this? I want them all. I want to shoot every single one of them. So I don't know why somebody just has a hard on to shoot Brian Colbert or not everybody. That's wild to me. You know? Wild to me that a guy that just stabbed to death 4 people would just walk by this beautiful blonde, Dylan, and let her live. You know, wild. So, But, dude, I love it. Hitler just sucking on them titties. There is nothing false or misleading about Detective Payne's statement. The shoe print was consistent. Okay. I think he was walking past my door and like saw me. I would say he was about 3 feet away from her. DM's bedroom door is immediately at the landing at the base of the stairs leading to the upstairs bedrooms. This was an exhibit. The shoe print was therefore reasonably within the suspect's path of travel as described by DM. Wow. You guys, this is so fucking, this is crazy. Further, the fact the shoe print was located only in one spot and there were not others before and after, it does not make Detective Payne's statement false about the path of travel. What is he, a one-man fucking crutch little motherfucker? What are you talking about? What would you say about it? Like, because the other shoe had nothing on it, that's why. Lana. Okay. It just stops. But what about that print? Okay, what about that print? That print just stops. Like, what? Oh, Hitler, looks like you checked your common sense at the motherfucking door. Talking about common sense. This is what you call T-ville. Consequently, defendant has not shown Detective Payne's statement was false or otherwise misleading. OMG. How do you want me to show it, man? Did Detective Payne say that the killer only had one leg? This is crazy to me. This is crazy when you read this and you break this down. Consequently, defendant has not shown Detective Payne's statement was false or otherwise misleading. Additionally, defendant has not established that DM's interview statements were wholly unreliable. Oh my God. As discussed. Or that there was otherwise a need to bolster her credibility in the magistrate's eyes. Yes, there were, you dipshit. Because this has to do with timeline. The time of the crime. TOC, baby. Consequently, even if the shoe print was not totally consistent with DM's account, defendant has not demonstrated that the statement that the statement was made deliberately or recklessly. How, and this is all I have to say, you guys, is how do I prove that? I just want to know if I was to become a lawyer one day, okay, how can I prove the intent of Officer Payne to be, okay, how do I would want to sit in this judge's class and raise my hand and just say, Judge Hippler, awesome, I get where you're coming from. Now, I don't know what it is that you did before you became a judge and before you started teaching this class to us called ethics and blah, blah, blah. My question is how would one be able to prove what you're asking them to prove by, your decision here? So what would you have needed to see in order for you to go to the dark side, baby? I want to know what you needed. What did you need to then be able to say, this is boom, 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 boom? And as a student in your class, because he teaches something, I want to know what you would expect the defense to be able to provide you. And I think that's the most important question here, guys, is what's missing? What's missing? What did you need? What did you need, sir? Because I'm curious as far as what would have taken you to say, oh my God, did you need Officer Payne to say, yeah, I did it recklessly. Yep, I knew that it wasn't the truth. Yep, I knew I could get the magistrate to see it my way if I said it this way and said it that way. Nobody's going to come out there and say that. So, and we're just asking for the goddamn hearing. We're not asking you to still even see it our way, but I want to know how could I get this hearing? That's my question. Payne was busy. Detective Mowry writes in and says, Payne was busy sticking corn dogs up Jennings' butt while I was doing all the heavy lifting. I'm gonna fall over. You guys, that's some funny ass shit. Just like, who would ever admit what I just said? Like, no officer is ever going to admit to lying in a PCA. So how do you prove it? You basically can't. You're going to sit here and say that a Frank's hearing is never obtainable unless somebody wants to say that I got caught literally with the hand in the cookie jar because I was on tape. But fuck, even in damn Boston, they're getting caught inverting videos. They're getting caught with videos that have no metadata. Oh, nothing to see here. You got people in Delphi I don't even know what they're doing in Delphi. They're just, I don't know. They have videos with vans on them. They got not the vans that we're talking about here, but white vans. And oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, when you have judges that are just going to say, I have this precedent. Yeah, you have this precedent, okay, from before there was cell phones, okay, before there was all this new technology that catches your ass red fucking handed. All right. Payne's introducing himself on a damn text message to people, okay? If you're just right next door, why the fuck would you be so Bella's dancing over here because she wants to shake it to precedent. Yeah, these cases have precedent because they're before the fucking cell phones. But why is Payne introducing himself to Nick Balance if they're just right next door to each other? Like literally, same building. Why aren't they sword fighting in person? If you know, you know. So I do want to thank Mowry for writing in, Detective Mowry for writing in and let me know about them corn dogs. I thought Jennings' butt was a little plumper. Layla, what's up, girl? Thanks so much. have a framed picture of me. I say bounce and I say, like, yeah, wow, he's burnt. I'm dead. Detective Maury, we're going to get you up on here one day, all right? Whatever. Whatever you say there, Hippler, we're down, baby. All I know is please go easy on us. You're going to have to bail us out here. So here we are. Back at it. Where were we? We're in this shit show. All right. Defendant has not met his Frank's burden on issue 11, the grand jury subpoenas, okay? You understand me? Issue 11 faults the law enforcement for omitting information in the Exhibit A supporting the search warrant for Amazon records, which was issued May 8th, 2023, y'all. Specifically, he asserts that the defendant, Detective Maury, requested that a warrant in reliance on the federal grand jury subpoenas issued by the FBI to Amazon. But y'all, Maury did not tell the magistrate, quote unquote, information about the timing and scope of the information obtained and relied upon, end quote. And that's in our amended memo, page 31 there. Defendant further states he is unstable. I'm sorry, guys. The defendant further states he is unable. He is not unstable, but he is unable to ascertain whether the omission was material and exculpatory because the grand jury subpoenas have not been disclosed, y'all. Where are them damn grand jury subpoenas? Because nobody has given us shit. We've been asking for this for 3 years. Now, the defendant has not established that this issue is the proper subject of a Franks. By God. First of all, this is not even, we ain't even supposed to be talking about this shit, but by God, y'all want to bring it up. So, defendant has not established that this is even proper, let alone, who cares? We're just going to deny it anyway. He has not provided the search warrant affidavit at issue. He has not identified any false statement. Because he can't get the shit. And the only omission he challenges is that Detective Maury did not disclose unidentified particulars about the timing and the scope of information obtained from the grand jury. He admittedly cannot show this omission was material and exculpatory and therefore cannot establish that probable cause would have been affected had he, omitted that information, haven't been included. What this challenge appears to be is an attempt to use Franks as a means for discovery. And by God, we ain't not going to have that in my motherfucking court. It's my courtroom. So consequently, a Franks hearing is not warranted, damn it. By God. This is Tina with the Fuck Translation Services. And my husband, his name's Bradley Cooper, and he is narrating it for us tonight, y'all. Now, defendant has not met his Frank's burden on issue 12, lack of connection between defendants and the victims. If you guys thought you were dating a Southern belle, her name is Tina with What the Fuck Translation Services. She's working overtime. And then we're using Surrey to then narrate it, okay? Okay. So, in issue 12, y'all, defendant challenges law enforcement's omission in their Exhibit A's of the fact that their investigation failed to reveal any connection between the defendant and the victims. Like, who gives a fuck, right? We got serial killers left and right not knowing who the fuck they're killing. I don't give a shit. Defendant claims this information was material and exculpatory because it sheds doubt on law enforcement's theory that the defendant was the quote-unquote the right person. Now, by God, the defendant does not provide the search warrant application for Amazon or the warrant itself because they, by God, can't get it from the FBI. Issue 12 applies to warrants issued December 24th and forward. Now, however, the defendant here has not established the lack of connection was a fact conclusory of known to law enforcement at the time the search warrant applications were submitted. Thus, he cannot establish it was intentionally or recklessly omitted. By God, I've told you this how many times, Anne? You want me to sit here and do your job? I'm not going to sit here and do your job, Miss Taylor. We're going to be all over the map before this day is over with this shit. Miss Taylor, are you understanding me? As long as I have Miss Jennings up here shaking her fine ass, I'm going to give it to her, if you know what I mean. If she going to give me something to play with, I'm going to play with it. Miss Jennings, you all thought she walked herself into Frank's. She walked herself into Stephen Hitler's pocket, baby. Shut up. Now, Miss Taylor, I know you acting out of pocket, girl, but I swear to God, I'm going to get you here. All right. Now, moreover, this omission was not material or exculpatory, Miss Taylor. Had law enforcement found a connection between the defendant and the victims prior to applying for the search warrants, it is reasonable to assume that the connection would have been disclosed in the search warrant affidavit. Don't you think, Miss Taylor? Is that right? Is that right, Miss Taylor? The fact is, it was not disclosed. Necessarily allowed the magistrate to reasonably infer that no connection had yet been found, damn it. Yet she still found probable cause to authorize the search warrants, as was reasonable to do, Miss Taylor. Consequently, again, Miss Taylor, defendant has not carried his burden under Franks on this issue, Miss Taylor. Now, Jay, defendant has not met his Frank's burden on issue 13, the lack of victim DNA in apartment and vehicle. Like, who gives a fuck, Miss Taylor? I swear to God, y'all lost your minds over there. This was the easiest denial I've ever had. 36 pages worth. I just kept writing, baby. Now, however, Miss Taylor, similarly, defendant challenges law enforcement's omission in the Exhibit A's of the fact that lab testing performed by the Idaho State Police did not reveal the victim's DNA in defendant's vehicle or his apartment. Now, the defendant contends that the lack of DNA is devastating to law enforcement's theory of the case and was intentionally or recklessly omitted. But Miss Taylor, they didn't test nothing yet. They knew they weren't gonna find shit, Miss Taylor. So they couldn't fucking put that shit in there. Then they waited. Miss Taylor, this is wild, Miss Taylor, that you would ever think this. However, Miss Taylor, as with the prior issue, defendant has not established when law enforcement knew of the lack of the victim's DNA in defendant's vehicle and apartment. The 3 ISP lab reports Ms. Taylor relied upon by defendant were issued on March 2nd, March 8th, and May 23rd of 2023, respectively. Thus, it could not be said that law enforcement knew of the lack of DNA until the last report, Ms. Taylor. Miss Taylor, have you done lost your mind? Miss Taylor, I would love to sit here and entertain your memorandum on top of memorandum and top of affidavit. Okay. Now, I might entertain Miss Jennings over there if she wants to get on top of it. You know what I mean? But this is wild, Miss Taylor, that you're going to march up into my courtroom and talk about some bullshit like this in front of Miss Jennings. Now, you know how much I like that lad over there. Woo, yeah. Now, this is one way to get through these ridiculous papers. Right, Miss Taylor? Now, Miss Taylor, let's see. In his reply, defendant claims that the actual testing, Miss Taylor, your client, has he lost his damn mind? Now, in his reply, defendant claims that the actual testing for DNA was performed by Idaho State Police long before the 3 lab reports were issued. He asserts he has reason to believe. Of course, here we go. No proof again, Miss Taylor. Just your reasons and your beliefs. By God, I hope you have a Bible, woman. He just has reason to believe that the results of the testing were verbally transmitted to law enforcement at the time. Here we go again, Miss Taylor, with your imagination. However, the evidence submitted by a defendant does not support his assertion. First, defendant submits the ISP lab notes from lab report 28 and claims that the testing was done on February 13th, 2023, 3 weeks before the report was actually issued. Ms. Taylor showing us Exhibit D33. A closer review of those lab notes, Ms. Taylor, revealed that testing of the various items at issue at lab report 28 took place between February 13, 2023 and February 24th, 2013. Or 2023, ma'am. The final report was issued 4 working days after the last test, Ms. Taylor. Thus, this evidence does not show that law enforcement knew well before lab report 28, Ms. Taylor. Now you just don't lie in my courtroom, Ms. Taylor. And you just lying over here. This is at best defendant speculation. Again, Miss Taylor, you marching in here with nothing but your little, I don't even know, Boldy and that little brunette over there gonna get you in some trouble, always grinning at my face. I always see her with that laugh, that just smile, like everything's funny over there. Miss Mathis, I see you. By God. Wasting my time, Miss Taylor. Defendant also submits lab report when we talk about these from a hair and fiber, FBI this and January this, and you want me to. The second lab report dated February 28th revealed that the hair and the fiber samples collected from the defense vehicle and apartment were not consistent with the victim's hair samples. We told you he was with them Asians, Miss Taylor. He's got a lot of people coming through there. Miss Taylor, I can't believe. At best, Miss Taylor, it can be said that law enforcement was aware of the February 28, 2023, that the FBI testing did not reveal the victim's hair and fibers. That's at best, Miss Taylor, in the defendant's apartment or vehicle, but it is evident from the various lab reports that law enforcement's investigation with regard to DNA was still being continued, Miss Taylor. Therefore, there was no basis for law enforcement to definitively aver there was an absence of victim DNA in the vehicle and apartment until the final report was issued, Ms. Taylor. In other words, the defendant has not demonstrated an omission, much less that it was intentional or reckless. And you just wasting my time, Ms. Taylor, with this shit. For the defendant has not demonstrated how including this omission would have affected the magistrate's finding of probable cause. He contends that it would affect all warrants issued January 5th and beyond. But he has not yet provided any search warrant affidavits from this time period for the court's consideration because they don't exist, because they will not turn them over. Okay? Anyways, here's this footer right here, guys. And that footer is defendant also submits what appears to be a worksheet from the DNA handling on January 23rd and 24th, 2023 by the Idaho State Lab, Exhibit D34. It is entitled Differential DNA Extraction, end quote. There are no findings or conclusions made in the worksheet, nor is there any indication of what DNA samples were handled and what DNA extractions, in quotes, means within this worksheet. No shit, Mr. Hippler. Exactly. How is a defense supposed to know this? And this is what they're relied upon. So when these, no wonder Ashley Jennings had to ask you for, I don't know, an extension to get all of her expert shit together because it was all bullshit. Okay? And this is what they're handled. So you're going to have to take this footer and shove it straight up your fucking ass when we start talking about the experts' reports. Because like I said, you can't have it both ways. Okay? You just can't have it both ways. Love your Scarlet, Miss Lana. Reading this is like when a parent tells you you can't do something. Why? Because I said so. You know, and then next week they tell you that you can do something. And then the next week you're like, wait, can I do this? Wait, but you let me do this one. Or you let da-da-da-da. And it's just like, this is horrible. Oh, this is horrible. God bless America. I need Detective Mowry to get up here. Detective Payne, zoom, 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 on our way. Yeah. So, this is best speculation, Miss Taylor. Oh, but by God. So defendant has not established the Franks element by preponderance on issue 8, which is defendant's identification by IgG. God. Absolutely sickening order by Hippler. Absolutely. I mean, it's very, very bad, guys. How much money you think Green gave the judge to deny these motions? I don't know. I think Green's got himself in so much shit. He's doing shots with the students right now and shot skis. He's tipping the shot skis back. You know, I'm trying to see it both ways here. Okay. And the only thing I can't get past is how does one get a Franks? How does one get a Franks? Based off of everything that Hitler's basically saying that any judge can just answer for the police and then therefore deny a Franks. So I don't know. Now Detective Payne has joined us. Hi, Detective Payne. How are you? Nothing washes a corn dog down like a lemonade. Corn Franks. That's why they say it's basically impossible to get a Franks. Yeah, I mean, you basically have to catch them, you know, on a hot mic or something that it's not supposed to be that way, though. And I just think that, you know, back in the day when they were doing all of this stuff, phones and emails, none of this stuff was prevalent. So, like, the way the technology is right now is that I think that the defendant here has met its burden for the preliminary call, like a push for it. Okay. Can this case really be compared? I think it's very comparable to right now. What I'm kind of seeing here is a little bit of Karen Reed and Delphi. I do. I see it. I think that Hippler does think he's part of the prosecution's team, without a doubt. He is the referee, so somebody needs to remind him that he is the referee. And I mean, nothing even remotely about this, anything that I read comes across as being like not biased. And it's fine. Like, I just think that you're the referee, though. So there should be no skin coming off your sack either way. It should just be like what it is. And I just don't see that. You know? What I see is that fucking take Kohlberger out of this. I look at this as our rights. I don't think that the way that the government did this case is okay, you guys. And here we have a judge basically showing where it's not okay. The judge is just going to come in and clean it up to make it okay. And that's my problem. Brian Kohlberger did it. You guys want to blow the bastard away? Fucking give Steve the gun. Fuck it. I just can't believe that as a parent, you hear about all this blood that's in the house that doesn't belong to Kohlberger, and you don't want to get a gun and go shoot those motherfuckers. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. It's not vibing for me. It's not mathing. I'd want to kill every single motherfucker that laid a fucking finger on my kid. All right? Whose blood is this? Who are the four brothers that y'all were looking at before you ever even got to Kohlberger with your little IgG experiment? Yeah, Hippler, the cleaner. Leave it to Hippler. He'll just come whip you. Whippy hippie. Yeah, the judge should be the referee. Where's Miss Potts? I just love her, says Detective Payne. She's a huge fan of you, Detective Payne. We're just so happy that they entrusted you with this huge case within 2 years of being with the force. So, looks like the defense is bringing in an out-of-state attorney. Gloves off now, in my opinion. Well, I think that they really need I think that they need somebody that's really, really good with. Once you start seeing how Hippler's playing, okay, you need somebody who's really good at litigating case law. You need a really strong, you need somebody that's going to be able to litigate and argue stuff orally in the presence of Hippler, to go at him. I think it's going to be a guy. I think that they need somebody that can that's going to demand respect. I don't think he's giving the defense any respect whatsoever when they're in that courtroom. I mean, literally, Ashley Jennings was doing somersaults in there, and it was so damn obvious that she was flopping around and flailing herself at the mercy of the courts. And then here, Hippler just bails her out. So I'm just hoping that, I think that for as bad as the state did, you would think that this order is they literally was amazing in that court proceeding. So, Lana, could they deny the out-of-state lawyer? Of course they could, but do I see that happening? No. I mean, they just let the prosecution have the whole damn attorney general's office. They're just, so take the night off. I've been taking nights off. Take your clothes off. It's approved. Is it Becca Barlow? Becca Barlow is the out-of-state lawyer. It has been granted. Huh. Well, that makes sense. You know what? This is really huge for the DNA stuff. You need somebody that's going to go at the DNA people This is actually huge. Great move by Ann Taylor. Great move by Ann Taylor. She's going to be able to go at them back and forth then. We're talking about when these people are on the stand, okay? Becca Barlow was in the background there, sitting in the first row. She helped carry stuff in for Ann Taylor the day of that hearing, the 2 days. Becca Barlow's been there. So it's interesting. Is she going pro bono? Is she doing it for free? Is she getting paid? Becca is going to crush. Yeah, it's just you just have to ask really good questions. So, Detective Maurer is like, I don't even know who Becca Barlow is. I barely know Casp is. So note to self: don't fuck with Lana's food ever. LOL. Yeah, my food. Yeah, better leave my little stuff alone. What's up? Okay. Oh God, back to what we were talking about. Lana, baby girl, I'm feeling like you're feeling. Thank you for bringing us this while I'm laid up in bed, trying to get rest so I can make it through work tomorrow. Oh, that sucks. Sorry to hear that you're feeling bad there, Angela. Oh God, what the fuck did I just do? Oh, God. Back at it. Lana, what about the other male DNA? Why is that not important? I wish that I wasn't getting everything like a little pieced off, sawed off. I think all of the DNA in the house is important. Anything that they would have swabbed is important because after going to the Delphi murders, I'm telling you this right now, if anything was coming back positive and it's male DNA, they weren't swabbing and stuff that wasn't important. So like it's going to be very close to the victims. Okay, it's going to be relative, like it's relative. Like we heard on the banister, there's blood. There's a glove with blood. I want to know. We're talking about semen. You know, remember I told you guys about this semen shit? Semen's coming your way, okay? Lana, do you think there could be a hung jury? Yeah, because guys, we're dealing with probable cause. This is all about probable cause. And Hitler says it a couple different times that, hey, we're just talking about what it was to get probable cause. Probable cause, yep, sure, you think you're going to find something there, okay? But what's interesting to me is that they kept saying they were going to find something, they were going to find something, they were going to find something, and they never were finding dick, okay? But yet they were acting like they were finding stuff. That was my issue. And I don't know, maybe they're arguing, maybe they didn't do a good job oral arguing it. Like I want to read, I truly want to read or watch, like unseal the fucking shit, man. He came out with his orders. Now unseal it so I can see if this was, oh, we were going to have to keep this behind closed doors. Like you just came out and basically ruled on all this stuff and nothing's redacted here in the rulings and in these orders. So if I'm a parent, I'm like, show me the hearing that you wouldn't allow us to see. Because I wanted to see, then I wanted to compare it to what he's taking from it. Because I've witnessed judges numerous times, as it happens so often, their orders are coming from things and you're like, that wasn't even my main point. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Why aren't you mentioning this that we talked about? Why are you using these stupid fucking things? You know? So I want to hear it myself. That way we all know what Ann's arguments were, you know, to whatever the state had. You know, we're working backwards. We're working backwards and trying to fill in what Ann's arguments could have been. But see, that's not fair because Judge Hitler could have just not even mentioned whatever her arguments were on certain things. Because I'm telling you, I know for a fact on a couple of these, there's no way that Ann Taylor was arguing this way. And if she was, then she did a shitty job. So defendant does not identify what search warrant this issue applies to, but presumably it includes all warrants issued after defendant was identified through IgG as a possible suspect. Orthon Lab was the company Idaho State contracted with to perform the IgG testing on the DNA sample located on the knife sheath. Again, defendant tries to place the focus of the probable cause evaluation on the narrative of the investigation. Yes. Well, what else are they going to put it on? What is important for probable cause purposes is what the evidence is at the time the warrant is applied for. Exactly. And there was none. I mean, he is ridiculous. What evidence? What evidence? Like, I mean, I'm going to have a heart attack, a massive goddamn heart attack. What evidence? What evidence? There was no evidence. Not until you could test, not until you had a name, Brian Koberger from the IGG, to then be able to check all your fucking loose ends, you son of a bitches. I can't even with the stupidity right now. He's writing it here in his damn footnotes. Again, guys, what is important for probable cause purposes is what the evidence is at the time the warrant is applied for, not the time sequence in which the evidence was developed. Excuse me? I just can't. I can't fuck with this. I can't. Somebody that's a lawyer, please explain this to me. Please explain this to me. What does this even mean? I would be the person in class raising their hands saying, excuse me, this is Tina with the fuck transition services. Okay. And I have a learning disability. Can you please help my LD out here? Again, defendant tries to place the focus of the probable cause evaluation on the narrative of the investigation. The narrative is the timeline. Okay. The order that you're developing your investigation, the order that you are receiving information to then develop information, right? To then put into a probable motherfucking cause, piece of paper, affidavit, to then turn over to the fucking courts. Okay? So if I am telling you that, hey, that person did not know about that yet, and they have it in their fucking voila, how do they know about that yet? That hasn't been turned over. How do they know about that? Everybody can just get straight fucked. Can you imagine how pissed Anne is right now? I bet she regrets moving to Ada County now. Yeah, I mean, if you knew that you were going to be going up against something like this, I mean, Judge would have been granting this. You know? I don't know. I don't know. I just think that this is a lot of nothing right here, and it actually is all the same thing. So remember, guys, in our test that we're going to take here, what is important for probable cause purposes is what the evidence is at the time the warrant is applied for, not the time sequence in which the evidence was developed. You can't get to the other one without something before it, you dumb mother effer. I'm just done. I'm gonna have a heart attack over here. I am. Bella's gonna have to cart me off, okay? And I can't even get through my papers because I'm having heart attacks. I don't even have words. I think Judge would have never written an order like this. Whoever wants to put their name attached to all of this shit? I mean, it sounds like he did it for the public. I mean, this is Gull. Gull's one page is denied. Denied without hearing. Denied without hearing. Land on no heart attack, please. I want to learn here. And I just want to know, how would one get a Frank's? How would one get a Frank's? Do you know that it's supposed to be based on, like, if it looks like shit, smells like shit, then we're going to go and investigate if it's shit. Okay? That's how it's supposed to be done. We are all going to spontaneously combust. It gets me thinking, though, like, what do you think Ann Taylor is thinking right now, man? Ann Taylor's just like, dude, we put in, like, all this time, all this work, did all of this shit right to literally show that this was not on the up and up. Okay? If Hitler, what you're saying is accurate, which is, hey, if they would have just put in the whole IgG stuff, then it would have just given more probable cause. Okay, well, why didn't they? Because they knew that they violated their own policy. Okay, right? But Judge Hitler says, who gives a fuck? He knows that they violated and he doesn't give a fuck. He said, even if they would have put it in there and they would have violated their own policy, there's still probable cause. Okay. So that sounds great to me, right? Okay. So then, hey, police, please, this judge is telling you it's okay. It's okay to violate, baby. Go violate those contracts. I hope that they have a fucking a class action lawsuit on their hands. That's what I hope. I do. I hope it's a class action lawsuit. And in fact, I'm going to go hurry up and I'm going to start spitting in every cylinder I can find just so I can get in on it. Start turning your DNA, bitches. Get it on that class action. But Judge Hitler says, like, when you read this stuff, he says, even so what? So what? So what? They did this. So what? They did this. Well, the prosecution wasn't thinking, so what? They're like, fuck, if they, whatever, man. In issue 8, defendant challenges the law enforcement submission in Exhibit A. The defendant was identified through an allegedly unconstitutional use of IgG. He contends law enforcement should have disclosed in Exhibit A that 1, the methods used by Orthram Labs to conduct the IgG testing allegedly did not meet minimum standards. Okay? Going to be interesting. And number 2, that the FBI failed to document its own IgG search using Orthram's data. Interesting. 3, that the FBI manipulated Orthram's data to create a much larger DNA profile. And 4, that the FBI violated its own fucking policy. and that of the commercial IgG databases it used when it uploaded the DNA profile to databases restricting law enforcement use. Now, here's where I think you might be able to get Donald Trump involved. Okay? You might be able to get Trump to go after the FBI because he fucking has a hard-on for them. And is it worth Trump being notified about this case to say, here, this is how shitty the FBI is as well. This is what they're doing. Okay? And I think it is, because fuck these motherfuckers. That's how I look at it. So Trump's all about taking on the FBI right now. And the FBI are the people that said, because when you guys have to understand something, when Idaho State Police did it and it was with just Orthram Lab, they didn't violate the policy. It wasn't until now, this is where a timeline is going to get blown to shreds. The Orthram people had this sample from November 22nd Okay. So November 22nd until December 10th. December 10th is when they shipped it to the FBI. And then you're going to sit here and tell me that then, yep, December 19th, okay, is when MPD found out about BK. They couldn't get anything from November 22nd to December 10th. In fact, they had 4 brothers they were looking into. Okay. And then they had a meeting of the minds on December 10th. Meeting of the minds. And said, okay, let's go ahead and get this sample on over to the FBI, baby. Let's let the FBI take care of it. And imagine this, though. Now we have to talk about the fact that we knew that they knew. You want me to believe. This is why I think that I just would have argued it differently. The question is when did truly the FBI know the name Brian Kohberger? If you're going to sit here and tell me that you want me to believe that the FBI knew the name Brian Kohberger when MPD did on December 19th, you've lost your damn minds if you think I believe that shit. You've lost it. Because why does the Amazon, okay, why would the Amazon search warrant only go to December 6th? Why do you think that they didn't want to turn that over? The Amazon search warrant was from whatever date, like March of 2022, whatever, and it stopped on December 6th. It's because that's the day that it was written of 2022. I don't know why this isn't being brought up. And I think that it was brought up. Tell me that Anne totally had have caught that, right? Like, if we caught that, she caught that. Maybe I should write her. Maybe I should ask her if she wants a bottle of fucking wine to deal with these fucking assholes. But now, so defendant contends these omissions from Exhibit A were purposeful. He also argues the omissions were material and exculpatory because they would have undermined probable cause by exposing law enforcement's false narrative of the investigation. Now, you really need to think about that. It kind of tells me that was the FBI on board with, going gung-ho at Brian Kohberger, okay? Because they would have undermined probable cause by exposing law enforcement's false narrative of the investigation. You really need to understand what that means fully. As mentioned, the court permitted a full Franks hearing on the issue. The court's finding of fact on the evidence and testimony presented and its conclusions of law are fully set forth in its memorandum decision and order on defendant's motion to suppress IGG, which is in the other packet that I'll read. This was filed contemporarily herein and incorporated herein as the court determined in that order law enforcement's use of IGG to identify defendant as a potential suspect was not unconstitutional. The court found that regardless of whether the FBI arguably contravened its own policy and contravened that of MyHeritage and GenMatch when it uploaded the DNA profile to their databases, it was not of constitutional importance. Moreover, defendant has not established that the search warrant defendants knew when submitting their respective Exhibit A's that the FBI or Othram did anything untoward with regard to their IGG searches. There's emails. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Because in the policy, it says that you have to talk to the lead investigator. And the prosecutor. And they make the decisions together. God, Hitler, you are so full of shit. I can't. I'm done. Like, I just have to calm down. I'm going to blow a gasket. I'm going to blow a gasket. By God. Detective Payne was the only person who had submitted a search warrant affidavit from whom defendant elicited testimony at the hearing with regard to IGG. He's the only one that testified. Detective Payne testified that he knew the FBI was handling the IGG search after Othram Labs ceased work, but said his communication with the FBI about the issue was sparse and limited to check-ins to ensure the IGG search was continuing. Do you understand? In one breath, they're all working together and doing all of this stuff in one breath. And then the next breath, I barely talked to them about that. Give me a break. And I want some of that Kit Kat bar. This is hilarious. Whoever believes this is crazy. He testified that on December 19th, 2022, the FBI provided him only with defendant's name and instructed that it was to be considered solely a tip. At some point after defendant was identified through IGG, the FBI walked Detective Payne through the details of the family tree it had developed from its search. But that was all. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Dude, what do we all do nowadays? We all take screenshots of shit, okay? Payne wasn't like, let me get a screenshot of this. Let me get a screenshot of this so I can like take a look at all of this, or let me photocopy this. No, I'm just going to walk him through it. Wow. So at some point, after defendant was identified through IGG, at some point, the FBI walked Detective Payne, through the details of the family tree it had developed from its search. But that was all. Further, he testified to having no familiarity about the IGG databases or rules that applied to them. Given the lack of evidence, Detective Payne knew or even had a reason to know that Othram or the FBI did anything unconstitutional in their IGG searches. Defendant cannot establish any omission in this regard from Exhibit A was intentional or reckless. Well, wouldn't he wonder, well, why can't we use this? Why can't we just put that we found his name from this? Wouldn't Payne wouldn't have asked any questions like, why can't we talk about this in the probable cause? Are you out of your fucking mind? That just tells me he's a yes sir, yes man. The last person I will ever be with in life is a yes man person. Bickup Barlow, now anticipated to be joining Brian Kober's defense team. Yes. Love it. Even assuming Detective Payne had been privy to the methods in which Othram and the FBI conducted regarding the IGG search, Franks does not require law enforcement to divulge every detail of their investigation and describe every lead followed or rock unearthed for evidence. No shit. That's not what anybody's saying here. See? Comparing mountains to molehills over here. Fucking dipshit. Probable cause affidavits are neither designed nor intended to be an opportunity for the reviewing magistrate to grade the police work on the case. Listen to him, man. I love it. I love it. Oh, shit. As observed by one circuit court, right there. We're not here to grade your work. Okay. Well, then what are you here for? You're the referee. So this little footer here, 46. Their only evidence of allegedly untoward conduct was the FBI searching genealogy databases that did not permit law enforcement searches. There was no evidence presented that the methods used by Othram Labs to conduct the IgG testing failed to meet minimum standards. While there was evidence presented that the FBI created a larger SNP profile than Othram did, which, how did you do that? Okay. Even defendant's expert, Danny, found no reason to suspect the FBI of wrongdoing in this regard. But I bet you he said something else. Like, well, if they did X, Y, and Z, then there'd be no issue to think that there's wrongdoing. He's got to be giving more than that. That comes with a precursor. The court found Detective Payne to be credible and reliable. I'm dead. 47, they had a footnote right here. Right here. Detective Payne was the only person who had submitted a search warrant affidavit from whom defendant elicited testimony at the hearing with regard to IgG. And then they say 47. And I want you guys to all know that everything that Detective Payne testified to, the court found Detective Payne to be credible and reliable. The end. The end. Oh, the end. Nothing else to see here. They can't subpoena the FBI. They're not allowed to. Interesting. I would think that they could. Why can't they? If the FBI was involved, why can't they? Jeez. Anyways, we're going to be closing this out, so here it is. Likewise, there is no requirement that police include evidence as a straw man simply so the evidence can later be attacked. Okay. While this may be fodder for a later motion to suppress, it is not a basis for Frank's challenge. So, and this is from, because I point this out, and I say that right here that the focus of an application for a search warrant is whether, based on the evidence that is presented, there is probable cause that the evidence will be found in a particular place, not whether an evidence gathering technique used was potentially unconstitutional. Nothing that when a magistrate issues a search warrant based on potentially illegally obtained evidence, typically the manner in which the affidavit evidence is obtained is not before the magistrate, and the magistrate is not asked explicitly to endorse the evidence gathering procedure. While this may be fodder for a later motion to suppress, it is not a basis for Frank's challenge. So we'll be ready for that to come up. Frank's, in cases of omission, asks simply whether the affiant left out evidence which, if known, would negate the inculpatory effect of the existing evidence and leave an insurmountable deficit in proof of probable cause. Defendant has not established that omitting defendant's identification through IgG evidence or the means in which IgG was performed had this effect. Indeed, had the IgG information been included, even with the problems complained of by defendant, its only effect would have been to add to the probable cause, just like Ashley Jennings said. And that's where I'm going to leave this one off at. So we're going to stop there. I'm going to hot toddy my throat. We're going to be back at it tomorrow where we're going to take a really, really good look here at the IgG stuff because there's huge nuggets in this when you want to talk about what they were doing, the time that they were doing things. I think a bunch came out in the Franks. I'll have a list of the 13 things because I did skip over a section. I said I'd come back to it. So I will, when I lay out the 13 issues that they had, I'll lay them all on a piece of paper. And I just think that it's very simple. Hippler has an answer for everything. And I think some of these answers could potentially get him in trouble down the road. That's just my take, and I don't know shit. So I know for me, I wouldn't be putting my name next to half of that shit that he was writing in there. So, but thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. The Gladiator became a member. Crime Tourist, love the new names. Goals, Mikey S. That basket. Mikey S turned somebody green. That's awesome. KJ for the win. Trulies. Carson Frozen Shock Phase Trade. Hop on. Love it. I missed that one earlier. Love you there, Carson. Layla back to back. Oh, you guys liked my Southern Belle, I know. Donna M. Donna Martin, graduate. Member for 21 months. Thank you so much. You go, girl. Love you, Lana. Appreciate that. Mikey S. again, gifting somebody a membership. Hoffy Master. Can this case really be compared? Right now, it's special. Again, Deb, thank you so much. Note to self, don't fuck with Lana's food ever. Dennis, fire medic. New attorney is Bicca Barlow, new docs on the site. Great, I'll take a look at that. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Vix, what's up, buddy? Get Cash Patel involved. Yes, 6 months. Love it. Vix Logic. You guys rock. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the laughs today. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna hit the hay. Guys, I tried to go as long as I could. First time chatter, true crime unraveled. Love it. Love that you're here. Cheers. True crime unraveled. Hopefully you got to hear my southern accent. Yes, FBI agents can choose to testify for the state and often do, but they cannot be forced to be there by subpoena. Interesting. Well, thank you to the mods. Mark B, always love it. You guys rock. All right, everybody, take care. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. I'll go ahead and set a thumbnail for tomorrow. There'll be 2 lives as we're going to jump right into the IGG. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it and learning. We'll all learn together on how we don't ever have to worry about any rules. They just don't apply, guys. Okay? All right. Bye-bye now.